The governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Zulum, is a man that is passionate about resettlement of people displaced by insurgency. So when an aid worker was killed in the state, he was saddened. Governor Zulum has condoled with the United Nations over the killing of a humanitarian worker, Ale Muliseta, by a Nigerian soldier who ran berserk in Dambwa local government area of the state. In a condolence letter to the UN's resident representative in Nigeria, Matthias Kimag, Governor Zulum said he's shocked and deeply saddened by the incident, which he described as an isolated incident that the military is investigating. Dr. What could have really happened here?
I think it's just psychological and then emotional. Over time, from what we gathered, experts in the area of psychology and the rest have been deployed in the war or in the theater of operation to keep talking to our soldiers. I've not really been in a confrontation situation in the Northeast, but I've witnessed it when Nigerian troops were deployed to Liberia and Sierra Leone. Even as a civilian not holding a gun, some of those things have refused to leave my memory. And then I begin to wonder, because on one of the occasions in Liberia, our troops were ambushed, including female soldiers. And they had to lie low. They had to stay in the trench for about 12 days. No food, no water, to enable the enemies exhaust whatever they had brought before they came out and attacked. Because at that point, the fighter jets of the Nigerian force couldn't be brought in. So, because if they come in, they are going to kill our own troops. And that is exactly what we're having in the Northeast. So if somebody gets to that point and you see a lot of your colleagues being killed, you see human lives being wasted, some of these things can lead to a complete breakdown. Complete breakdown. And I think that was what happened to that soldier. I can picture what he would have gone through in terms of emotional stress. So that's why, for me, I think no matter what, we should always keep encouraging our troops. Sometimes I do some things and people look like, is this man crazy? If I'm at the airport and the soldier is behind me, even if it's a private, please come in front. If I'm on a queue to buy food in an eatery and a man with a uniform comes, please come. Even a last man official was shocked one day at a eatery. I said, no, madam, go in front of me. Because they are serving us. And they need those kind of encouragements to know that when they come back from serving us, we in the society, we are going to give them that due respect. A lot of people don't know what they go through. You only need to visit some of those areas in Borno and see the kind of destructions there. To now imagine what those soldiers are going through, where bandits and terrorists are using anti-aircraft missiles to fire at human beings. Missiles that are supposed to bring down aeroplanes. You are shooting it at human beings. And that's what our troops are going through. Let me add that we must commend the governor in Borno State. He has been very helpful. And I think his impact has been one of those things that must have kept these soldiers encouraged. Because we've not had, except the friendly fires that we've had in the past, we've not had this kind of thing of recent, where a soldier just turns his gun and starts shooting. We've not had it. So he has done a lot. Not only for the people, but even for the troops.
All right, Paul Dada, from reports out there, these military men suffer in silence, especially when it comes to their mental health.
Yeah, that's true. I like his spirit, and it's a spirit that every Nigerian should have. It's easy for Nigerians to sit down in the comfort of their homes, or sit in their cars, or sit in the beer parlors and start condemning men in uniform. You know, every Nigerian sees the man in khaki as an enemy. Many times, I once had a pastor of a church that was peopled mostly by military men. I was in that service one day. He himself was the son of a military man. And he said, this profession is cursed. I mean, pastor was saying that. He was saying that because of, maybe the violence that some people in uniform met out on innocent civilians, and then maybe that one response with a cause. That happens. Nobody's going to deny that. And we all condemn it. When policemen misbehave, we condemn them. But then the truth of the matter is there are things people go on. I have a friend that has gone on missions. When he was telling me how it is when people work on mines, maybe soldiers particularly work on mines, he said it is even better than that you are shot with a gun. Because if you work on mines and there's an explosion, you are torn to pieces. Now imagine you seeing that happen to your colleague, maybe the person in your front steps on mines and then is torn to pieces. Not someone that a trigger, maybe a gun is placed on his temple or something, or is shot in the chest, or which is normal. Talking about someone who is torn into pieces, and maybe you have to start picking the pieces. These are things these people go through. And which I think what we need to, this is just a one-off incident. It's not something that happens all the time. So we cannot use this to judge the military, because a deranged soldier, it's condemnable. No, it's very serious. I mean, I'm not trying to downplay it. But the thing is, maybe we need to be more eagle-eyed. Maybe we need to be more eagle-eyed. The authorities need to be eagle-eyed. To watch out for those who may be showing signs of breakdown and take them out, maybe for counseling or for rehabilitation. It's very important. All
right, so Nigeria is to open PTSD Center for military personnel. What impact will this have on the armed forces?
It will definitely have a major impact. Because like we said, these things are not easy. I mean, when you see some of these things and you begin to ask yourself, as a soldier, who is next? Am I next? I recall one of our trips to Liberia. We were already at the airport, ready to return to Nigeria. Then one of the generals there said, hold on, I forgot something in the office I want to send to Nigeria. He took his boys with him. When they came back, it took them time to return. We had 6 coffins with us, some of those guys who just left us, because they stepped on mines. There was no one who did not cry that day, because these were men who just left us with their boss to just pick something they wanted to send to the headquarters and put on the flights back to Nigeria. So we need, as much as we can, put in place for these people. And like we've always argued, this should not only just be in terms of even counseling. The welfare matters.
I was about to go there.
A man should know that if anything happens to me, my family's welfare is protected. Bam. Nothing will happen. But that doesn't happen in Nigeria. Even a man who is alive, retires from the military, he finds it difficult. If it doesn't take so long to even get his entitlements. That is getting better now, based on the records from the Military Pension Board. But those eras, I can imagine what a man will go through. My own dad died as a commissioner of police in service. It took us, despite the fact that he was a senior officer and all his mates were then up in the hierarchy. It took us over 1 year to get anything out. So, not to talk of those who are the foot soldiers. So we need to work on all of these things. And the amount also. You find some people, like we have said on this program, going to queue in the sun for 20,000 naira in a month. And they still keep telling them, come back for verification. Go for Some leave Lagos to go to Lokoja, where you have Military Pension Board, or Abuja, or wherever they retire, the Yobe and all the rest, to do this verification. And we should be in an age of technology.
A whole lot of them are living in squalid conditions. Go to the barracks, some of the police barracks, and see how they live. People shouldn't live in that, normal human beings. Now you are telling me how that kind of person will not have a mental breakdown, when he's living in such condition. Now, this PTSD is a serious thing that soldiers who have gone on campaigns, who have been to the battlefield, can have. And some of the symptoms include self-destructive behavior. you know, like drinking too much, driving too fast, you know, like getting angry unnecessarily. These are things that can happen. Some will have trouble sleeping, some will have memory loss, you know. So the issue of their welfare is paramount. Make them feel like people. Make them feel important. They don't make them feel subhuman. Already, going to the battlefield is like being in a subhuman condition, because whenever you find, whether you find yourself in the mire or you find yourself in the water or in the whatever, you must cope. You understand? Even the training is like that. But when you are back,
what happens?
What happens?
And unfortunately,
when you retire, what happens?
Most of the professionals who can take care of them to overcome this battle syndrome, they are out of the country. They are living because other people want them and are ready to pay. It's still part of what we are suffering. Absolutely. Doctors are living, nurses are living, psychiatrists are living, physiotherapists are living, psychologists are living.
Jackma.
They are living. So
young Nigerians are living.
How do we then have enough to go around to even sit down with these officers and men and talk to them? Because this thing must be continuous. It's not something you do once in a year. It's something you have to, even if it's possible, every day. Get to talk to them. Let them feel loved. Let them feel like they're part of the society. I wish all of us who ill-treat them when they are in our midst will one day be given just a pistol to shoot. If you hold a pistol and you fire and you don't fall down the first time, I'll credit you.
All right, so let's, one of the major issues from this report is that a humanitarian worker died. Yeah. And so from reports, the working conditions for these officers are becoming increasingly dangerous day by day.
It is really. But I know that the UN, United Nations, is always prepared. Not as if we should lose them, but they also know the dangers involved. It's a sacrifice. And that's why I said, those who are in this line of work, we should praise them. We should encourage them, because anything can happen at any time. And that's why there is nothing that we do for them that is too much. I can't do that kind of job. There are people who have decided to sacrifice everything. Once there is a war, they know that that is the next point of work for them. So they have gone past this kind of inhibition that we have. But it does not mean that is the ultimate. But we should continue to encourage them, praise them for the job they are doing.
All right. Before I allow you to react to that, let's quickly take our caller from Abuja. Hello, Toby.
Hello.
Good afternoon to you. Welcome to the show. Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Yes, I just want to make a brief contribution.
Okay.
Hello, are you with me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
You see, the problem we're having in this country, okay.
Please go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, so see, the problem we're having in this country is that what we're supposed to do, we will not do it. You know, from the entrance of any organization that employs, hello?
All right. I guess you need to call back, please. Thank you. All right, Paul Dada.
Yes,
Do they need more protection?
Of course, they need more protection. They need more protection, and they need to also be counseled. I'm sure, of course, I would like to believe that they are sufficiently orientated on where to go, how to move, you know, when not to move. But sometimes the unexpected happens. It even happens to journalists covering the war front. Journalists have lost their lives while covering the war front. I read of a female journalist who went to cover a war somewhere, and then everything, a bomb or something, you know, and her jaw was completely shattered. She was lucky to escape. I mean, not to die. Of course, surgery was done and everything, and then she said, "I want to go back." I want to go back. It's like she had no life other than that. So this humanitarian or aid workers are very, very important. We need them actually in every battle. You have the Red Cross, you have all sorts of NGOs, international NGOs, going to the battlefield to assist those who are displaced, those who are the IDPs and all of those people. So I am sure that before they go, I believe that they have been given sufficient. It's not just what anybody can. You can't just wake up one morning and say, I want to go to the battlefield and be an aid worker. You must have been trained sufficiently. But you can't, it's just like a soldier. You can't be too careful. I mean, you know that if you are going to the battlefield, you may not come back.
All right.
Even though you have been taught, maybe you have been taught evasive tactics, how to dodge, how to do all of those things, but
all right, Dr. Your final take on this before we move to our next question.
I think I'll also still go back to the issue of commendation for these men and women who are doing us good as a country. Because we can't run away from the fact that whichever part of this country where there is problem is still a part of it. And those who are helping us, the soldiers, the aid workers, they stand well commended. Because without them, things would have been worse.